NOAA reopens Atlantic Monument to commercial fishing policy shift aligns with executive action to expand domestic seafood supply. For nearly a decade, some of the most productive fishing waters off the U.S. Atlantic coast sat untouched by commercial fleets. Not because the fish were gone, but because the law said stay out. The Northeast Canyons and Seamounts Marine National Monument, designated in 2016 under the Antiquities Act, placed nearly 5,000 square miles of ocean, about 130 miles southeast of Cape Cod, off limits to commercial fishing. The boats moved on. The waters stayed quiet. This April, that changed. NOAA rescinded the regulation prohibiting commercial fishing inside the monument, aligning federal rules with the administration's executive directive unleashing American commercial fishing in the Atlantic. The monument itself remains. The fishing ban inside it does not. Why these waters matter to supply chains. This is not average ocean. Cold water upwellings push nutrients toward the surface, drawing species that carry real commercial weight. Yellowfin tuna, swordfish, Atlantic mackerel, squid, and deep-sea red crab. Access to these waters directly affects catch volumes, which in turn influence availability, contract pricing, and margin pressure across food service, retail, and institutional supply chains. NOAA Administrator Neil Jacobs said the move is intended to increase the share of U.S.-caught seafood in domestic markets. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick positioned it as a shift toward prioritizing domestic production. The industry has pushed for this change for years. In 2023, U.S. commercial and recreational fisheries generated $3 to $19 billion in sales and supported more than 2.1 million jobs. But access restrictions have limited domestic supply in a market increasingly reliant on imports. What has actually changed? This is not a rollback of fisheries management. It's a shift in access. Commercial activity inside the monument will now operate under the same federal framework governing other U.S. waters, including quotas, gear restrictions, and oversight from regional fishery management councils. NOAA maintains that science-based management and compliance requirements remain intact. Environmental scrutiny is expected. Deep-sea coral ecosystems in the monument grow slowly and recover even more slowly, making gear restrictions, particularly around bottom contact fishing, a critical variable. What procurement teams should watch. The policy change is immediate. Market impact will depend on how access translates into catch. Quota allocations, gear limitations, and offshore enforcement capacity will shape how quickly domestic supply expands. Any increase is likely to be gradual rather than immediate, but even incremental gains can influence forward pricing and sourcing strategies. The categories most likely to see movement over the next 12 to 24 months are the ones long associated with the area: Atlantic tunas, swordfish, and mackerel. As domestic volume shifts, import dynamics and sustainability and traceability expectations may follow. Environmental organizations have not yet issued broad public responses, but prior challenges to the monument's status suggest legal and ecological concerns are likely to follow. You've been listening to Sustainability Soundbites by Environment and Energy Leader. For partnership opportunities, please reach out to our team.